The night was enveloped in an eerie silence as Stephen Feist, a wealthy businessman, sat in his lavish study, frustration etched across his face. The air was heavy with tension, a consequence of yet another night dealing with the aftermath of his son David's reckless antics. "David, when will you understand the consequences of your actions?" Stephen muttered to himself, running a hand through his graying hair. He had received a call from the police station informing him that David had once again found himself in trouble. The study's door swung open, revealing David, disheveled and unapologetic. "Dad, it's not a big deal. Just some fun with friends," David nonchalantly remarked, dismissing the severity of the situation. Stephen clenched his jaw, struggling to maintain composure. "David, this is the last straw. Your recklessness is putting a stain on this family's reputation. I won't tolerate it any longer." As father and son engaged in a heated exchange, the tension in the room escalated. David's defiance clashed with Stephen's frustration, creating an atmosphere thick with unresolved issues. "I've had enough, David. You need to learn responsibility, and if you won't do it willingly, then I'll make sure you learn it the hard way," Stephen declared, his voice stern and unwavering. David rolled his eyes, a smirk playing on his lips. "Whatever, Dad. Do what you want. I don't need your lectures." With those dismissive words, David stormed out of the room, leaving Stephen alone in his study. The weight of parental concern and disappointment lingered in the air, pushing Stephen to contemplate the drastic measures he would soon take to ensure David's transformation into a responsible man. The decision was made. Stephen, fueled by frustration and determination, set in motion his plan to instill discipline in his wayward son, David. He spared no expense in enrolling David in one of England's strictest educational institutions, known for its regimented routine and transformative approach. As Stephen presented the idea to David, the tension in the room was palpable. "Dad, this is insane. Sending me off to some military-like school won't solve anything," David protested, his defiance evident. Stephen, unmoved by David's objections, looked him in the eye. "David, your reckless behavior is affecting not only you but our entire family. This is a chance for you to learn responsibility and discipline. Consider it a wake-up call." The conversation lingered, but ultimately, David's fate was sealed. Stephen arranged for David's enrollment, ignoring the protests and resentment that echoed through their opulent home. Days later, at the airport, Stephen and David faced the reality of the impending separation. "You're doing this because you want to control my life, Dad," David accused, frustration evident in his voice. "No, David. I'm doing this because I want you to have a chance at a better future. It's time for you to grow up and take responsibility for your actions," Stephen responded, a mixture of concern and determination in his eyes. The departure gate loomed ahead, marking the beginning of David's journey into a world of strict rules and discipline. As David reluctantly boarded the plane, Stephen couldn't shake the heaviness in his heart. He knew that this drastic measure was the only way to break through to his son and mold him into the responsible man he needed to become. Amidst the challenges of David's enrollment, Stephen found himself drawn to a quiet figure diligently working in the halls of his high-rise office building. Melissa, the janitor, went about her tasks with a resilience that caught Stephen's attention. Intrigued, he decided to strike up a conversation. "Excuse me, miss. I couldn't help but notice your dedication to your work," Stephen remarked, approaching Melissa as she meticulously cleaned the office's indoor plants. Melissa looked up, visibly surprised by the unexpected interaction with her employer. "Oh, Mr. Feist, I didn't realize you were here. Thank you for your kind words. I take pride in keeping the office clean, she responded, a modest smile playing on her lips. Stephen observed her quiet diligence for a moment before continuing the conversation. Your commitment to your work is commendable. Tell me, Melissa, why is a young woman like yourself working as a cleaner? He inquired, genuine curiosity evident in his voice. Melissa responded with a modest smile, I'm taking evening classes, sir. Working here helps me support myself while pursuing my education. Stephen nodded, impressed by her determination. Well, you seemed so engrossed in your work that I didn't want to disturb you. Disorderly plans really bothered me, you know. Julia offered him a shy smile, I'll be done in about 10 minutes. Interrupting her, Stephen stated, You've done enough. The place looks fine to me. If you believe you've finished your work, you should head home and rest. This unexpected encounter marked the beginning of an intriguing connection between Stephen and Melissa, setting the stage for a unique opportunity that would soon present itself. As Stephen got to know Melissa better, he couldn't shake the feeling that her resilience and commitment deserved a chance at something more than being a janitor. One day, he found himself in his office, contemplating a proposition that could change Melissa's life. Melissa, I've been thinking, Stephen began, choosing his words carefully. I have an opportunity for you, a chance to step into a world beyond cleaning offices. It could change your life. Melissa, surprised by the unexpected proposition, looked at Stephen with wide eyes. Mr. Feist, I appreciate your kindness, but I'm content with my work. It helps me support myself and my education. Stephen leaned back in his chair, studying Melissa's reaction. I understand, Melissa. But consider this, it's a unique opportunity, one that could open doors you might not have imagined. Take some time, think it over, and let me know. The proposition lingered in the air, leaving Melissa to grapple with the unexpected turn of events. As she exited the room, Stephen sighed heavily, aware that he had planted a seed and now awaited Melissa's decision. Days later, Melissa approached Stephen with a resolved expression. Mr. Feist, I've thought about your proposition. I'm willing to give it a try. What do you need me to do? Stephen, pleased with Melissa's openness to the opportunity, smiled. Melissa, this is a chance for you to marry my son, David. It's an unconventional proposition, but I believe you can teach him the complexities of life. Melissa hesitated, absorbing the gravity of the proposal. Marry David? It's certainly unexpected, but if it helps him and gives me a chance for a better life, I'm willing to try. And so, a surprising alliance formed, setting the stage for a unique journey that would test Melissa's resilience and introduce unforeseen challenges in both their lives. Melissa, initially taken aback by Stephen's unconventional proposition, found herself grappling with conflicting emotions. As the reality of the situation sank in, she mustered the courage to voice her reservations. Mr. Feist, I appreciate your offer, but marrying your son is a significant step. It's not something I can decide on lightly, Melissa expressed, her voice a mix of uncertainty and honesty. Stephen nodded understandingly, acknowledging the weight of the proposal. I understand, Melissa. It's an unusual request, and I didn't expect an immediate agreement. Take your time to think it over. I want this to be a decision you make with full consideration. Melissa left Stephen's office with a whirlwind of thoughts. The unexpected proposal lingered in her mind, and as the days passed, she found herself wrestling with the potential consequences of such a unique arrangement. Meanwhile, David, unaware of the proposition, continued his stay at the strict educational institution in England. Stephen, determined to see his plan through, waited patiently for Melissa's decision. After much contemplation, Melissa approached Stephen with a sense of resolve. "Mr. Feist, I've thought about it, and I've decided to go along with your proposition. If this can help David and provide me with an opportunity for a better life, I'm willing to try." Stephen, appreciating Melissa's willingness to embrace the unexpected, smiled. "Melissa, I believe you have the strength to teach David the complexities of life. This might be an unconventional arrangement, but sometimes, the unexpected paths lead to the most meaningful journeys." And so, with a reluctant agreement, Melissa embarked on a challenging journey to fix the spoiled young man, unaware of the twists and turns that awaited her in the pursuit of transforming David into a responsible individual. Melissa faced the daunting task of transforming David, a young man accustomed to a life of luxury and irresponsibility. The clash of their worlds created a challenging environment within the confines of their new living arrangements. "I can't believe I have to do this," David grumbled as Melissa set some ground rules for their unconventional living situation. "Why do I need someone to fix me? I'm not broken." Melissa, firm but patient, responded, "David, your father believes this is the best way for you to learn responsibility. We both need to make the best of this situation." As the days went by, Melissa introduced David to a disciplined routine, ensuring he attended classes, fulfilled responsibilities, and embraced a more structured lifestyle. The spoiled young man faced the harsh reality of a world that demanded accountability. One evening, as they sat down for dinner, David couldn't help but voice his frustration. "This is ridiculous. I never signed up for this. Why should I have to change my entire life just because my dad says so?" Melissa, calmly sipping her tea, responded, "David, change is uncomfortable, but it's often necessary. Your father wants what's best for you, and I'm here to guide you through it." As the weeks passed, Melissa's influence began to manifest in David's changed demeanor. He started attending classes regularly, took on responsibilities without much complaint, and gradually embraced the principles of discipline. In a moment of reflection, David approached Melissa one day. "I never thought I'd say this, but maybe you were right. I do feel a sense of accomplishment in taking control of my life. It's just different." Melissa, offering a genuine smile, replied, "Change is hard, David, but you're proving that you can adapt. Your father believes in your potential, and I'm here to support you on this journey." The transformation, though challenging, bore the fruits of Melissa's dedication and David's willingness to change. Together, they navigated the complexities of a new life, gradually building a connection that went beyond the initial purpose of their arrangement. Against all odds, the unconventional arrangement between Melissa and David began to yield unexpected results. The once spoiled young man, now molded by Melissa's guidance, started to exhibit signs of responsibility and maturity. As the dynamics within the household shifted, a sense of camaraderie emerged. One evening, as they gathered for a family dinner, Stephen couldn't help but notice the positive change in David. "You seem different, David. More focused and responsible." "Melissa, you've done wonders." David, with a newfound sense of humility, replied, "Yeah, Dad. I never thought I'd say this, but Melissa's way of doing things actually makes sense. I guess I needed a reality check." Melissa, who had become an integral part of their lives, modestly smiled. "It's not about changing who you are, David. It's about realizing your potential and understanding the impact of your actions on those around you." The once tense atmosphere had transformed into one of understanding and support. Melissa and David, who had started their journey with reluctance and uncertainty, found themselves forming a genuine bond. One day, as they sat in the living room, Stephen addressed Melissa with gratitude. "Melissa, I want to thank you for everything you've done. You've not only helped David but also brought a positive change to our family dynamic." Melissa, humbled by Stephen's words, responded, "Mr. Feist, it wasn't an easy journey, but I believe in second chances. David has a lot of potential, and I'm glad to have been a part of his transformation." As time passed, the household became a place of laughter, shared responsibilities, and genuine affection. Melissa, who had initially entered their lives as a janitor, had become an integral member of the family, bridging gaps and fostering connections. In a surprising turn of events, Stephen received a call from David one day. "Dad, I have something to tell you. Melissa and I are getting married. We've found happiness in this unexpected journey." Stephen, both surprised and delighted, responded, "Well, I suppose sometimes the most unconventional paths lead to the most meaningful destinations. I'm happy for both of you." And so, against all odds, the unconventional journey resulted in a friendly and happy family, proving that sometimes unexpected connections and second chances can pave the way for a brighter future.